Hi everyone, my name is Jessica and I'm the Assistant Fellowship Director for Campus Election Engagement Project. Today I'm going to be taking you through our social media and branding mini training. So let's go ahead and get started. Each of our trainings comes with a few learning outcomes to help you determine if this training is right for you. At the end of this training, you will be able to recognize different elements of branding and apply them. You'll be able to understand the mechanics of content planning and scheduling as they apply to fellowship activities. You'll be able to understand the importance of interacting with other accounts on social media, and you will be able to build the capacity to hold meaningful online conversations and connect with students over digital media. First, let's talk about digital branding. Digital branding is creating digital media profiles with a clear voice designed to reach students on your campus. So think of your personal social media feeds and the people that you follow. Maybe that's athletes or musicians, actors, chefs, activists, yoga teachers, or maybe a small business owner. They all create and execute their own branding to match the story that they want to tell. So take a look at SEEP's mobile Instagram profile. It tells the story of who SEEP is and what we can offer students online. Shareable voter education resources and a place to celebrate voter identity. We'll talk more about building a brand that tells your story a little bit later. As an election engagement fellow, you need to build a brand to match the story that you want to tell. And that's empowering your peers to become part of the next generation of voters. So, how does branding and social media management apply to my fellowship? First, we want you to create your own brand for your election engagement efforts on your campus if you do not already have one. Second, you can successfully build a campus election brand that will amplify the activities that you and your allies undertake. And finally, once your brand is created and launched, you must use it to make your work visible. Tell your story through your brand and use it to establish a presence on campus. This helps students count on you specifically for voter info and election resources. So what does this look like on your campus? Your campus brand should be something that is unique to your school, and ideally it would draw off of your school name or maybe your athletic team names. So for example, Virginia Commonwealth University created Rams votes because the Ram was their school mascot. You want it to be something that is unique to your school so that it can help shape your school's voter engagement identity. Building a brand starts from the beginning. First, does your voter engagement cohort already have social media? Great. You will be responsible for elevating your reach. Let's say you don't have any social media. That's no problem either. Find the two platforms that your student body is most likely to use. This will usually be Instagram and Twitter, but it can also be Snapchat or TikTok. Create a relevant username. So for example, if you attend Cherry Creek University, then at Cherry Creek Votes is a perfect handle. You can also use your beloved school mascot. So for example, at Comet Votes. Make your user as easy as possible to find. So try to minimize extra characters like numbers or underscores. You also need to create a relevant hashtag so people can find and share voter-related content at your school. Hashtag Cherry Creek Votes is a really great example. Let's talk about some basics of building a visual brand. Obviously, we didn't hire you to be graphic designers, so there's no need to stress about making perfect visuals. However, the visuals still matter. Pick about 3 or 4 colors that work well for you. This could be red, white, and blue. It could be your school colors. It could be something completely original. Make sure that you use your Canva account if you have one. This is a really great place to start. They have a lot of templates that are really easy to use and they can help you pick a color palette. So for your color palette, pick 3 to 4 colors and try to make each graphic or picture align with that color palette you've chosen. Go to color.adobe.com to make sure that they are colorblind friendly. It's really easy to do. Make sure you stick to 2 to 3 fonts. Make sure that those fonts are clearly legible and that they stick out on the page and have a bold impact. And then depending on whether you work on campus or not, you may not have as many in-person photos. So try to get comfortable with graphics and reuse powerful photos from past years on your campus. Hashtags increase your reach or your ability to be seen by people who don't follow you. It's an excellent way to spread the word and expand your audience. Hashtags are a core part of building a digital brand and they are a unique tool to digital organizing. Hashtag choice must be intentional in order to be effective. So there are 3 types. There's your brand hashtag, which is what we broke down in building a brand. These hashtags are directly tied to your brand. They allow you to gain more brand recognition. Additionally, if someone wants you to see their content, they can use your hashtag. Always use at least one brand hashtag in every one of your posts. There's a broad hashtag. This is how you venture out into the digital world and reach a new audience. Try to find hashtags that have around 20,000 to 100,000 posts. Hashtags that are too big, like hashtag vote, aren't very effective because of how big they are. Your post will just get lost. The third type is narrow hashtags. These are hashtags that help you reach a more specific audience. These hashtags will likely depend on the type of post that you're writing. They usually have 10,000 posts or less. Even hashtags with 100 posts or less can be helpful. Here's where you can also use school-specific hashtags to reach your specific student population. And remember, use 4 to 5 hashtags per post. Only 1 or 2 hashtags won't really get you anywhere, but using too many will actually signal the algorithm and your post will get buried. Let's look at a brand example, Hawk the Vote. At the University of Iowa, Hawk the Vote has an impressive digital presence. Utilizing their mascot and school colors, Hawk the Vote has built a robust and recognizable digital footprint. Their visual brand is clear and recognizable, and hashtag Hawk the Vote is a great brand name. Hawk the Vote clearly tells a story. Students at the University of Iowa should participate in school pride by acting as engaged citizens and voters. Now that we've covered the fundamentals of creating a digital brand, let's apply it to how you manage your social media accounts. Here are some core strategies for content planning, scheduling, and creation. First, capitalize on the social networks of existing campus organizations by cross-posting. Second, social media is about staying up to date, so post relevant content and lean into social media trends. Third, make a strategic content plan in advance, assign responsibility, and be consistent. Post on a regular basis and hold yourself accountable to managing your platforms. Managing a platform is a lot of work, so sticking to one or two platforms is really best. Fourth, encourage user-generated content or content featuring students themselves. If you can get students to take selfies with a registration card, they are more than willing to share. If you take a picture yourself, record verbal consent to take and use it for SEEP. Finally, remember the strongest way to build an influential presence on campus through social media is to have valuable content and to interact with the community. So publishing content alone won't quite get you there. You have to set aside time to interact with other relevant accounts. That might mean sharing their posts, commenting, etc. Set aside 15 minutes a day for this interaction. Utilizing your social media presence to its fullest potential means empowering students with voter information and resources and making genuine connections online. There's no need to overthink it. Interacting with users and students online is the same process as it would be in person. Instead of tone of voice and body language, you have to rely on the words themselves, so make them count. On our SEEP account, I collected stories from users about their first time voting and turned them into posts. Your job is to start the conversation about voting. Here's some basics of creating a social media campaign. If you need to create your social media campaign, start with its purpose. Why are you creating it? This is relating to your brand. Why are you creating your brand? Why are you creating this social media campaign? It's to create some sort of message or culture. Then set a calendar. Like we said, social media is very much about being consistent, and creating a calendar at the beginning of your social media campaign will help you stay on track. Design your story or create your brand, create your messaging. Pick an authentic campaign name like Hawk the Vote. And lastly, pick good hashtags. Pick good campaign hashtags that are related to your campaign name. And lastly, when you have online conversations, any body language or vocal cues are missing, so make sure that you make your words count. So here's some basic guidelines for having meaningful online conversations with students. Our first tip is reframe the question. So, are you registered to vote? Might feel very one-sided, so try this instead. Do you have what you need to vote this November? That's more of a call to action and it's a more welcoming phrase than are you registered to vote? You can also send students accessible resources that are easy to read online. Students should be able to find the info they need in 1 minute or less. Otherwise, your online conversation might get a little boring. So here's some good resources to refer back to. Vote by mail how-tos, vote.org's voter registration information, your County Board of Elections website, and your Secretary of State's website. If they need specialty resources pertaining to a specific demographic, maybe students with differing abilities, for example, then do a quick Google search and accurate resources should pop up. You can copy and forward the link to the person who needs it. And lastly, if you have any questions about anything we went over today, please reach out to your state director and we can put you in contact with our communications team who will be more than happy to help you get your social media campaign up and running. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to check out and follow us on social media or join our Slack channel for conversations and idea sharing with our fellows all across the nation. So once again, welcome to our SEEP team.